Hello, and welcome to Season 9 of Long Beach Treasures. Today we're going to start out the new year with a bang because we have two beautiful homes here in Bluff Park, one very modern and one very craftsman in style. And joining me now is the owner of this beautiful home, Owen Powell. Owen, thanks for letting us stop by.
No problem. Nice to have you.
I guess this was a prototype of something that was to be built but never was?
Exactly right. There's kind of an urban legend about this place, but the facts are in the late 1950s, they were planning a 14-story tower to occupy this entire corner, much like the Galaxy in the next block. And they built this as a model home in order to pre-sell some of the units and get some cash flow going. Even at $60,000, the units were deemed too expensive, so they abandoned the project and ended up selling this as a freestanding house.
And Ed Killingsworth was one of the architects, was he not?
Yes, he was. He was the lead architect, and we were lucky enough to have the floor plans, original floor plans, and a lot of history on Ed and his other work in Long Beach.
Would you take me in and show me
Please,
around?
come on in.
Okay. This is an unusual entrance, is it not?
Quite. Everyone says that. Because of the way the units were going to be configured, there would have been 4 on a floor, and where we're standing now would have been the elevator lobby for the building.
Oh.
Relative to our unit would have been the elevator lobby, so it's emergency stairs and elevator in this area, and then the front doors would have clustered around this open spot.
So we can just go in this way?
Yeah, please come on in.
Oh, well, here's the other owner. Hi, Louie.
How you doing? Pleasure meeting you.
We're taking a tour of your house.
Wonderful. Come on in. Welcome.
Which way? I have no idea where we're going.
Coming out in the sun in the front.
Oh, wow. Your furniture all fits.
Well, we've been collecting it since we got here. When we moved in, we had actually a big collection of French antiques, and one by one we replaced them with furniture that's more appropriate to the period and the style. Having a lot of the history of the house and some photos of when it was a model home kind of helped us make selections.
Even the Christmas tree fits in.
Exactly. It's the first thing we bought when we moved in here.
Hey, I have one like that. The lady I bought the house from left it.
Well, it took us some time to find one that big, for sure. But we moved in March, and it's the first thing Louis got for the house was the Christmas tree, because he knew he had to have a big silver tree.
Is this the kitchen around this
Yeah,
way?
right around the corner. So there's some unusual features. You see the columns out in front. Those columns are repeated. There's one here. Of course, they're phony columns, but they built the model just as it was going to be in the tower. They duplicated everything, whether it were structural or not. So
Now this unit here would have been an example of one of the units in the high-rise?
Exactly. It would have been the front left corner of our orientation. Of course, this was going to be torn down when they built the entire project.
And I believe the square footage was going to be 2,300 to 3,100 square feet?
Yeah, this was the...
That's large.
Yeah, there's plenty of house here. There's plenty of house. The rooms are big.
For just a 2-bedroom. There's plenty of space.
Yeah, all the rooms are big, and because everything opens on to the next room, the next room, the next room, it seems even bigger than it is.
Let's go on down and...
Sure, come on in.
I like that couch.
That was a piece, actually, we've had for quite some time. It was built to go around a table. An old relative had it, and my sisters didn't like it because it was too difficult to get in and out of, but we knew it fit the house, so we grabbed it.
Now, is this you, Louie?
That is. Well, a client of mine painted that for me.
Ah!
What a resemblance, isn't it?
I think you're much better looking.
This is the office here. Originally, there would have been some shoji screens that separated the office from the living room. You could have them open and closed. When we got here, they put a solid wall in, and they had a bar out here, and this was a TV room, and they kind of made a mess of it. So we took the wall back down, and eventually we'll get the shojis replaced. They'd also done other things like push the sliding doors out to the edge of the deck there, rolled the carpet out, and called it a room addition. So
this would be a great house to entertain. You've got the balcony going all the way around. You have a large area.
Yeah.
it's the original party house. For
Is
sure.
it?
Yeah.
Is it still?
It is still. It is still. That'll wait, dogs. In here, I've got a few photos of the when it was furnished as a model in the late 50s.
Oh.
So these are vintage photographs from the 50s, and these are photographs of the renderings of what the tower would have looked like. So our unit would have been on the front left corner if you were standing in the building. Would have been the front half of the building here. And then they have a beautiful plexiglass model. I'd love to have that again. I believe it still exists up at the Killingsworth office. So again, between those photos and some of the other period things, we got some ideas of how it should have been furnished. Here's the shojis that
Right.
have been lost.
And this is the bathroom in here?
Yeah, that's the
One
guest
of two?
One of two. That's the original, not the original bath. We were able to expand it a little bit and modernize it a bit because it was in pretty rugged shape when we got here.
Looks good now.
Well, thanks. I've got a nephew living in there. Actually, you don't want to film back
No.
there.
Oh, you don't want to go back in?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
a mess.
All right.
Yeah, the restoration has kind of stopped here, and we've got a lot of work still to do in the back of the house. But let's go out in the backyard because
All right.
we're pretty proud of that. And the backyard's finished, unlike the inside of the house.
Are you building a garage back there or something?
Mm-mm. No,
Oh, is your neighbor?
no.
I thought I saw some construction out there.
I just rebuilt a section of the fence. Maybe that's what you saw.
Maybe that's what it was. I like the bamboo. It gives it a neat feeling.
Well, we had, when we moved in here, there were enormous ficus trees that went all the way around the yard, and there wasn't a lick of sunlight trickling down into the yard. So one by one, we took them out. We took out 14 trees and opened it all up and replaced the tall trees with the bamboo. And every year, we harvest out a third or a quarter to a third of it and share the poles with the neighbors and everyone else who wants it.
It's very private here, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the idea.
Nice water element.
Yeah, I've got some fish in there, but I also have a hawk that's been hanging around in the backyard, so I'm never quite sure whether the fish are going to be there when I wake up.
Does the deck go all the way around the house almost?
Comes all the way down the side, and then loops around the back. The deck going down the side and across the front would have been the part of the original plan, and then this section was added after the fact. But it's
Your backyard's sort of low maintenance too, isn't it?
exactly. Trying to conserve water. Eventually, in the front yard, we're going to replace the landscaping or the grass with some more water-tolerant landscaping. That was my original career, was landscape architecture. So you'll always find me in the garden.
This is quite spacious back here.
Yeah. There's a lot of space. They certainly don't make lots like this anymore. We're 50 by 210, I think.
This is
the
another
dimension.
patio back in the back.
It's our little retreat.
But you just got little nooks and crannies all over.
Well, it's a nice place to go between the water feature and
this is
all the
nice.
planting. It's a nice place to come out and have a glass of wine at the end of the day and be away from the traffic and all the noise in front. So I can come out here and have a little fire and relax a bit.
I thought that was upholstered, but it's not.
No, that's a Philippe Stark piece.
Now, this would be a great place to unwind. You have a little fireplace. You have
Yeah.
the water element.
Yeah, like I said, you can find us out here in the evenings having a glass of wine.
I also, I didn't point them out in the front room, all the modern light fixtures that you have in there. Are they original, or did you collect them, or
Um,
One
Yeah,
at a
one
time.
did you?
George Nelson lamps.
Yeah, again, the house kind of speaks for itself, and it tells us what it needs,
Yeah.
rather than us buying stuff and.
Now, this was
imposing it on
built
the house.
in the late 50s?
1959.
1959.
59?
Right. And it was open as a model for all of 59 and into 1960, I think, before they abandoned the project and sold it.
Abandoned because no interest, too high?
Yeah, too high.
The
Yeah.
prices was too high?
The prices were through the roof at the time.
Given the time.
But for the size of the units, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, I mean, this is so spacious in there.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine why they weren't successful, but condominium living was kind of a new idea, even on the West Coast anyway, in the 50s. So I think there was just some resistance, and you know, there would have been 56 units total, and I believe they pre-sold 6 or 8 of them, but that wasn't enough to get the project off the ground.
I believe the highest price they were asking was, what, something like $85,000?
Yeah, that would have been for the penthouse units.
Yeah.
And that's after they lowered the original prices.
The original plans were 4 identical units on a floor, and when they reconfigured it to bring the prices down and the size of the units down, the prices started, I think, in the high 40s, and there would have been 6 units on most floors, but they kept the upper floors as in the original configurations and called them penthouses. But again, that was, they just weren't able to sell enough units to get it off the ground.
When was the Galaxy built, do you know?
62, I believe.
So that would have been shortly after they were going to do the construction here.
Right after this was abandoned, yeah.
And this project would have taken Wuthering Heights next door?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, W.C. Field's old house, or so the legend is.
I understand it's supposed to be haunted, too, with Clark Gable's ghost.
All kinds of stars used to hang out in there. It's
Cal Lombard.
Hey, guys, thanks for letting me stop by.
Wonderful.
I've
a pleasure
been
having you.
curious about your house for a long time. I walk my dog by almost every day, and you know, I guess what I like about Bluff Park is because there's such an eclectic mix of
Right, huge
architecture.
variety,
I
huge
mean,
variety.
there aren't very many modern homes like yours. A lot of craftsman, Victorian, and it just, I don't know, it just makes, it's my favorite neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
We agree.
we couldn't agree more. We
Yeah.
love living here, and we'll be here until they take us out feet first, I
Feet
think.
first.
And that'll be a long time.
Hopefully.
Yeah, really.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And don't go away, we'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
Guess what? He carried my books.
Did you see that play?
It was so funny. She's so embarrassed herself. Guess what?
No, man.
She's so funny. Ready for the-
Bring your home to life with a Charter Bundle. Get an amazing channel lineup and the most on-demand programming, a super fast internet connection, and unlimited long-distance calling, all for one low price. Call 1-877-SAVE-196 and start saving today.
The Port of Long Beach is one of the busiest in the country. In case of disaster, being prepared is our #1 concern. It's now up to us to be ready for an earthquake, or in the worst case, a terrorist attack. You'll need food and water for 5 to 7 days for your family as well as your pets. You'll need to prepare an emergency evacuation kit for you and your family. For more information, go to www.greaterlongbeachrc.org. Knowing what to do is your best protection, and it's your responsibility.
Food's great. I can see 11 TVs from where I'm sitting. Great atmosphere, good service. Excellent place to come watch a game.
Lots of good sports, great television.
Football, baseball, and HD down at Smooth Sports Grill.
There's actually a nightclub Friday nights and Saturday nights. Fantastic DJ. We love coming to Smooth's. Great food. Got televisions everywhere. Nice place.
Hey, welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. Joining me now is Lori, and she's the owner of this beautiful Craftsman home. Lori, thank you for letting us come and see your home.
Well, welcome. I'm happy to have you.
Now, you've completely restored this house, have you not?
We have. We gutted it and added on and reconstructed in the original Craftsman style, trying to recreate all the original details that would have been in a early 1900s home.
What's your square footage?
The main house is around 3,300.
Nice size.
Yeah.
Can we go in and check it out?
Come on in.
Let's go. By the way, before we go, I love your front door. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. We had that made, designed it, and picked the glass.
I've never seen one like that before.
Well,
Probably one of a kind.
could be. Could be.
All right, this is the front room.
This is the main living room. There's still some tile work happening on the fireplace. We're still.
You can still smell the wood.
Yeah. We had craftsmen here on site, and they milled all the moldings, all the crown molding that you see, the woodwork on the ceilings.
And this is a little office over here.
This is the library over here. All the V-groove.
I love the beadboard. I have that in my kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah, it used to be all over the place. They made that here on site as well.
Gosh, the wood is beautiful.
A lot of local talent. We had
Is
great
that a
craftsmen.
Lalique up there?
No, it's just
Oh.
a reproduction piece.
Hi, kiddo.
This is Lola.
Hi, Lola.
She likes to visit everybody.
You can come with us.
It comes into the dining room here. Again, it's not all furnished yet. I'm still in the process
What
of
an unusual table.
Yeah, we had this made as well.
Excuse me.
This is an African wood called babingo. A Venice artist made this for me.
This would seat probably about 12.
It would probably seat about 14.
Oh.
Still need to get some chairs.
I really like the ceilings.
Yeah, the beams, we made them here on site as well. And all the fixtures are original old lighting fixtures. It's kind of a combination of craftsman and deco. Eclectic. Kitchen was all custom made,
Oh, this
again by a Venice craftsman. It's all mahogany, granite.
Is that an old stove?
That's an original old stove.
And you use it?
Every day, every day. Still working on having the hood made, kind of to match the stove, but
This
it
is
works
a
great.
big kitchen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite nice. We had a party here last Sunday with about 80 people, and
Probably wasn't
probably
even
half of them in the
crowded.
kitchen. No, it worked out very well.
Which way are we going now?
Come this way. Let's see. Did some tile work, kind of had all this made
Oh, what a-
as it would have been
Gorgeous bathroom.
way back when. It's kind of fun, challenging for my tile man.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's a neat sink, too.
Yeah, he spent several weeks on each bathroom, but we had a lot of fun doing
How
it.
many bathrooms do you have?
There's 3 so far that he's done.
So far? And this is the TV room?
This is a TV room. Again, we made, all the beadboard ceilings here on site. The moldings. Comfortable place at night.
What a nice house.
Hallway just leads down to the garage. This is one of the bedrooms, master bedroom.
The dog's
Sort
bed?
of underway. The dog's bed, Lola's beds are everywhere. If it's soft and comfortable, then Lola feels that it's hers.
Oh, wow, what a large bathroom.
This is the master bathroom.
Did you design the stained glass windows?
I did design that, and again, a Venice design studio made that for me.
Gorgeous.
We've been building for the last 2 years here.
But this has been under restoration for quite a long time, hasn't it?
It's been under restoration about 8 years. The prior owner had spent 6 years just doing the brickwork outside, and had gutted it and added on.
So then when
Kind of
you
it was in the
purchased
framing
it,
stage.
you did the finishing work?
Yeah, it was just rough framed when we purchased it. So we finished everything inside and
This is gorgeous.
the guest house. It was a lot of fun. Labor of love, but a lot of fun.
You know, I love working on old houses. Mine was built in 1918, and, I just enjoy doing work around it. It just, I don't know, but if you do one thing, you have to do 2 other things to make it look right.
Yeah, it's an endless project. The basement was originally here on the original house, but the prior owner had covered it and didn't intend to use it. This staircase probably was outside when the house was first built. It would have been.
So did you add on to the house?
Yes, this was all added on to. The house ended, right here by the kitchen.
Oh.
So we opened it up, and then my husband built the staircase down. I mean, we're still under process, but we're creating a wine cellar. Would you like to see it?
Sure, I'd love to go down and see it.
Okay.
Now, how many wine bottles is this going to hold when you finish?
I haven't counted yet, but probably several hundred. It's been a lot of fun. This was all open.
This is absolutely beautiful wood. Is this oak?
This is all walnut, and the ceilings are redwood.
Oh, it's beautiful.
close this in. Still in progress.
Well, this is large, isn't it?
It is, and it stays this temperature 365 days a year. I haven't noticed it change yet. So it's a pretty good temperature for the wine. Nice place to come hang out at night and visit with your friends. Again, the light fixtures aren't all finished yet, but there's some stained glass windows that are going to come in on the sides here, and then all the grids need to be built out in the openings.
Oh, so there'll be light behind
Yeah,
the
these
stained glass?
two outer sides will have stained glass windows. And then in the middles, they'll be built out for the wine bottles, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, this is quite nice. Where does this door go to?
A crawl space under the house. We actually made that door out of old 2x4s from the original walls of the house.
This would be a neat place just to come down and entertain a small group of friends in wine tasting.
Our friends love to come down here.
I bet they do.
They do.
All right,
Every night.
let's go back up and check out some more. This is neat.
So this room is going to be the game room. It's kind of temporarily furnished right now, but there'll be a pool table coming in, and we're in the process of designing a bar to be built.
You have a lot of stained glass, don't you?
Yeah, this is a window that we had done about 30 years ago. It was in one of our prior homes. We moved it here.
And you have a pool?
We do. We do. Come on up.
Wow.
Jacuzzi, and it's just a lap pool for exercise.
But what a great place to entertain.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
You know, one thing I really like about your house is all of the different levels of patios. You have a beautiful one right out in front of the house. You have this one here, and I'm sure there's another one behind the house.
Yeah, we wanted several areas for entertaining.
And it's also nice, too, because this is low maintenance. There's no grass. It's all
Quite low maintenance.
bricked in. Can we walk back here?
Absolutely. Come on back. This is the guest house up in the back, which has
Oh,
been...
it has the same door as you do.
It does. It's usually full of people.
Why so many garages?
Well, my husband likes to have space for a shop and cars, so he plays.
Wow.
And that was important to him.
What is it, about a 6-car garage?
There's a 6-car here and a 2-car under the guest house.
Wow.
So plenty of room for him to...
You can rent out
Spread out
parking
tools.
spaces with this parking
good.
impacted neighborhood.
Well, we entertain a lot, so we need room for our friends.
This is great. The mosaic fence posts there.
Yeah, I designed that again with my Venice artist. This was the first time he ever sculpted octopus this way. So we decided to have a little fun with some... I wanted it to be kind of beach and whimsical out here.
Now, that's just a guest house for when you have guests stay over? I mean,
Yes.
it's not a rented
Family and
apartment
friends.
or anything?
No, it's purely for family and friends. And like I say, it's usually full. We have people, a house full all the time here. The door is always open, so our friends are always here. Would you like to see it? Would you like to go up?
Sure, we have a couple minutes. Let's go.
Okay, let's go up. So this is the guest house, and they've got a nice view up here as well. It's a lovely place to sit. It was kind of a construction office for a while because we finished this before the rest of the house.
I
So
have to go look at this. Is this another vintage stove over
It
here?
is another vintage stove.
Where do you find
This was
these?
from the 20s. Well, we collected them for years, always planning to put them in our dream house. And this,
And these, they work really
they
well?
work perfectly. They've been fully restored. They work as good as any new commercial range. They're just prettier to look at. Again, same mahogany as the kitchen in the main house.
Oh, what a neat guest house.
Yeah, it's pretty cozy.
You know, I think if a guest stayed here, you might have trouble getting rid of them.
They come and stay as long as they want. They're all welcome, so.
And the
we
view
enjoy
is fantastic here also.
Yeah, they have a wonderful view.
Oh.
It's bright and airy, and, when we finish decorating sometime, it'll be really nice.
This is just absolutely phenomenal. I've watched this house progress for a long, long time, And I thought, is it ever going to get finished?
Everybody thought that way. The neighbors were really happy when they saw us pounding away every day and seeing progress.
But it has turned out to be absolutely spectacular.
Well, thank you. I'm happy that you enjoy it. I'm happy that the people in the neighborhood seem to enjoy it.
I didn't notice inside, I see a smokestack. How many fireplaces do you have?
There's 2 in there.
Oh, that's right. There was one in the front room, and then there was one in the
Between the game room and
game
the kitchen.
room. Right, I remember that, yeah.
Again, there's tile work and stone work to happen yet, but
Your dog's having a good time on the bed.
she loves this place. She hopes I don't change the bed. Lola's comfortable everywhere. She lets herself be known.
Lori, I want to thank you because I was surprised when I knocked on your door and you said yes, I could film it, because I really wanted to see what the house looked like, because when you go by, it just looks so spectacular, and you know, it looks original. It doesn't look like it's been rehabilitated.
We tried to keep everything as it would have been original to the
You
period.
replaced the shingles and everything on the
Everything
outside?
is brand new.
So it's
Yeah,
a new home.
It's a new home.
Plumbing, electrical?
Plumbing, electric, roof, exterior, all the floors, all the beams you see, everything is new.
And you have 3 beautiful homes right in a row here, too.
I'm very lucky.
You know, there's such an eclectic mix of architecture here, and I guess the craftsman probably would predominate.
I think so. I think so. There's some modern.
Lori, thank you for letting me come. It's
Great
been
to
a
meet you.
pleasure.
Thank you for coming to my home.
And thanks for watching, and this ends our first show for the 9th year, so come back next month and we'll take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures. Welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're up here in North Long Beach looking at this beautiful Victorian home, which is the home of Dan and Holly Pressburg. Dan, thanks for letting us come up and see your house.
Oh, thank you for coming, Harvey.
What year was this built?
It was built in 1903.
And now this is, it says a dairy
Yeah, it was
house?
the original dairyman's house for the Long Beach Dairy and Creamery, which moved from here in about 1911 and moved downtown to 4th Street.
So this was actually a dairy farm at one time?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Can we go in and look at the house?
Sure. Be
Let's
my guest.
go. All right, this is quite an entrance, Dan.
Well, thank you.
How big is your house?
It is about 2,000 square feet.
Oh, that's a good-sized house. You lead on. Just take us wherever you want to take us.
Well, first, normally what I have people do, because I do open my house up to the public, I have them sign in, so if you wouldn't mind.
I'll be happy to sign in. All right, I'm the first one on that page.
Yeah, they're also the first one for 2008.
Oh, well, good. Which way are we going?
Where would you like to go? Would you like to start downstairs or upstairs?
Why don't we just start here since
Okay.
we're down here?
Sounds
This
good.
is your entry hall here.
Yes, it is. It's actually, this is not the original. We changed this around a little bit so we had more room for ourselves in the master bedroom, which is down behind this wall. So we've changed it, but you would never know. After living here for so long, you get to learn all the skills of the carpenter. So you get to change things around. You'd never know.
And I bet you had a lot of fun doing the ceiling, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I had a great time. laying on the top of a scaffolding and coming up with this. The design took me probably, me and a friend, it probably took us 20 minutes to design this room. And it took us 5 days, and we were trying to beat the clock in both rooms on getting the wallpaper up around the 4th of July.
You have a lot of antiques, don't you?
I have a few, a few.
And this is the original wood and molding?
Yes, it is.
And I assume the floors also?
Yes, they are.
Been around for a few years, haven't they?
A little bit over 100.
And this is the dining room?
Yeah, actually, in the old days, this would be the parlor. The front would have been the entrance hall, the sitting room, and you could have had access through 2 different doors.
Are these pocket doors?
Yes, they are.
Oh, neat. I love pocket doors. It's a nice sized dining room.
Well, thank you.
Again, much fun on the ceiling, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
Is this the master bedroom?
Yes, this is the master bedroom.
What do you have? A bath down here and a bath upstairs?
Yes.
So there's 2 baths?
There's 2 baths.
It's also a nice sized room.
Yeah, so this used to be the door to the entryway. And so this would have been if someone had died, and actually we shrunk down the door a little bit, but if someone had died, this would have been the viewing room, and you would have taken them out there. But the house got switched around, I believe, in 1923 a little bit, and so I changed the door and just took the moldings off, and then recently we put the wall from the front over here, so this is now a closet.
Check out see how big the bathroom is. Oh, this is a nice sized bathroom.
It's a work in progress.
You have a lot of wallpaper in this house, don't you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we sure do. But this is all the door locks work. As a matter of fact, I guess I always carry a skeleton key with me, just in case I ever get locked out. I always have one.
And we might as well peek in the kitchen here.
Okay.
Now this is not original. The cupboards look too new.
Well, this part, this is a story. Back here used to be what they would call the water closet.
Oh.
And so what happened here is we had a hot water heater and everything like that. One year it exploded and took off the back end of the house. And so with the insurance money, I rebuilt the back end over here the way it was, and then also had enough extra because I reworked the wood to put in new cabinets. So these cabinets are only about 15 years old.
That looks like an old stove.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And it works?
Yeah, actually I'm cooking your lunch in it. Or baking your lunch.
All right, now where?
Let's go on upstairs if you'd like.
Okay. Stairs are pretty steep, aren't they?
Yep.
Now how many rooms are up here?
There are 4 bedrooms up here. Actually, 3 and a nursery. Because one's a half-size room that I use for an office.
So this is your...
This is more or less the family room.
You know, I notice a lot of little closets.
Those are all pocket drawers. They all work. They've got different things in them. You know, they've got... in this one, they've got old VCR tapes that I don't use anymore.
But that was just for storage?
That's just like for storage. This is actually another bedroom, and when my son was growing up, he had this room, and the room next door was was quote the den. That way you could just run upstairs and go without bothering anybody. And my daughter had the one at the far end.
Is this house hard to heat?
I have actually, the fireplace heats the house.
Oh.
And so what happens is you start the fire at about 5 in the afternoon, you let it run for about 2.5, 3 hours, and there's bricks that come through the back part of the house over here and it radiates this direction.
Was that the fireplace in the dining room?
Yes.
These are nice sized rooms. Do you have a wee baby?
That is for my grandson.
Oh.
They live across the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
Keep everybody close by, huh?
Yep.
This is your office?
This is the office. So at the moment, actually I don't have any of my artwork up. I've got one piece back over here, and I'm working on this right now.
For what?
That's for Suja. I took a picture of her and then I cartooned it.
Oh.
So it'll be, eventually it'll be put and matted, and I'll ship it off to her office. So I thought it was kind of fun. We've been friends for a long time, so I just thought that'd be kind of fun.
You're an artist also?
Yeah, dabble now. I thought that was going to be my vocation. Actually, I'm a banker now. Banking consultant, I guess you could call me. And, oh, I see Sebastian was here. My grandson was in this room.
Ah.
I can always tell.
See what's outside. Well, you have a nice backyard, don't you?
Yep, that's a lot of fun. Actually, I've got the two plants over here came from Cambria. The rose bush in the very back over there used to be in my front yard. Carol McCafferty gave that one to me, and it is now growing like crazy.
How many garages? You have 4?
No, I have a 3-car garage. Actually, it's a big one. So, but that was built in 1929, and when I first moved in here, we had to seal off the back end because we had an open hole for where there was a cesspool, I guess. Originally. So,
the dairy moved, you said, downtown?
Yeah, they moved downtown. They kept the pasture land, from what I understand, all the way around here. Part of it, small part of it's DeForest Park, going back up into the neighborhood. When they subdivided it out, it became the California colony.
Now, there were a lot of cattle farms around here at the time.
There was a couple of dairy farms around here, and there was asparagus and sugar beets over here too.
Oh.
So this was a farming community at the turn of the century.
Do you know when they got electricity here?
Well, actually, I still have the gas pipes running through my ceiling. So they got electricity, if I recall, around...
Gas pipe for the gasoliers?
Yeah.
Or for the gas lamps?
For the gas lamps, yeah. So I'm imagining it was somewhere between 1905 and probably 1910. I think most of us were pretty good. This whole part of town wasn't annexed until about 1919. The first time, and then it was re-annexed in 1924 as part of the city of Long Beach.
What was it before it was annexed?
Virginia City.
Oh, is that where Virginia Country Club gets its name?
A lot of people say that's where we get the name for Virginia City, because it was coinciding, but the Virginia Country Club moved from Rec Park, which is Rec Park now, but it used to be over there, and moved over to the Virginia Country Club in about 1924. So at the same time, everything was going on. So I don't know if that's where they got the name from, but maybe.
How did you end up here?
I lived back further in DeForest Park. I lived off of Adair. And I used to come by this house. I used to watch it go into disrepair. It was like every 6 months something new would be falling off of it. And so I kept telling my wife, we're going to buy that house. Every time we come by it, it's falling apart. I said, I just hate to see that happen. And so one day we were on our way. The kids and and my wife were on our way to a play. And we came driving around the corner, and they were pounding in the for sale sign. And so we turned back around, put in an offer. And after a couple of negotiations, we got it for about $100,000.
And that was 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Good price for...
Well, it's worth quite a bit more now.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And this is Victorian architecture.
Yeah, it is. It's It's kind of a transitional home. It's got a lot of the Victorian details, but craftsman style is thrown in here a little bit.
Could we run down real quick and look at the backyard?
Sure.
I think your dog is going to serenade us here. Oh, this is a neat place for entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Hi, Nikki. Nice barbecue.
Thank you.
Do you do a lot of entertaining? It looks like you're set up for it.
Yeah, we do probably every year. Whenever there's an election, we do a candidates forum.
Out here?
Well, between the two, we usually get between 50 and 100 people. And judging by what the next one's going to be this Saturday, it's probably going to be closer to 100, 120. There's a lot of people interested in the school board, etc. But yeah, so we entertain. Every once in a while somebody wants to do a wedding back here, so we let them do a wedding or two.
This little gazebo looks like a neat little area.
Yep. Oh, watch the landmines.
This would be a neat little place. Little fire pit. The dog knows right where to go.
Yep, definitely. And it's really nice at night when you light it up. It lights up the whole area in the park behind it, so you can actually see the gazebo over the fence.
Oh. Is that new?
This, it's been here. We put it up about four or 5 years ago.
And what kind of candidates forum are you having?
It will be for the 6th District candidates, the 2nd District School Board, and the 4th District School Board. So that would be like Felton Williams and John Myers, who are the incumbents, and a couple of other people, and Dee Andrews, who's the 6th District Council member, and Amit Zafir. So
he's challenging.
He's challenging Dee.
Be interesting.
It will be interesting, but the most fun is listening to everybody talk about what's going to happen. That's the most fun over here, because you never know what they're going to say, because they're not really that schooled as yet. Now, Amit and Dee are probably a lot more schooled. They just had an election 10 months ago, so they're prepared, but the rest of them, I doubt it.
3 of the candidates lucked out because they didn't have to run for re-election.
That's true, they sure did.
Hey, that's a good deal. So,
yep.
Well, today's also election day, so we'll see what happens later on
with
in the
day. Presidents, yeah.
You bet.
All right. Thanks,
Dan,
Harvey.
Thank you for coming. For letting us come over and see your house. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and John's been after me to get over to do your house, so I finally did. So thank you.
It's my pleasure.
And don't go away, because we'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
The Port of Long Beach is one of the busiest in the country. In case of disaster, being prepared is our #1 concern. It's now up to us to be ready for an earthquake, or in the worst case, a terrorist attack. You'll need food and water for 5 to 7 days for your family as well as your pets. You'll need to prepare an emergency evacuation kit for you and your family. For more information, go to www.greaterlongbeachrc.org. Knowing what to do is your best protection, and it's your responsibility.
Food's great. I can see 11 TVs from where I'm sitting. Great atmosphere, good service. Excellent place to come watch a game.
Lots of good sports, great television.
Football, baseball, and HD down at Smooth Sports Grill.
There's actually a nightclub Friday nights and Saturday nights. Fantastic DJ. We love coming to Smooth. Great food. Got televisions everywhere. Nice place.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Dude, that's hilarious.
Laugh all you want and bring your home to life with Charter Telephone. Get unlimited long distance and the features you want. Call 1-877-SAVE-196 today.
Hello, and welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. Joining me now is my good buddy, Michelle Bridges, who is an architectural color consultant, and we're here at Edison Place, which was the first electrical homes built in the city of Long Beach. What year, Michelle?
They were built in 1923.
And the style of architecture?
You know, these are a very modest Spanish style, and you can tell this by being Spanish, a lot by the lack of ornamentation, but mostly in the arched windows. And as you kind of take a look towards the top, we've got some clay barrel tiles. We can go ahead and take a walk down the alley, and I can show you a little bit more.
It looks like some of the windows have been replaced from the original wood.
You know, yes, they have. This lower window right here is original wood, and if you look up towards the second floor, you can notice that that one is a replaced window.
Now this is a unique little driveway that is shared by all of the tenants. And there are 10 units here, right? 2 freestanding, and then the others are connected?
Yes, this one right here to my right is an unattached unit, as well as the one over here to the left. And then as you go down the alley, you've got 8 more units, 2 each, that are actually detached or attached units.
Now these all have garages. I wonder if a car of today's size would fit in here.
It might be a tight squeeze, Harvey. And you know, as I was speaking back about the Spanish style, this unit in particular right here has some lovely Spanish tiles on the lower stairway, as well as some saltillo tile. That's something you see very predominantly in Spanish structures, and as well as the arched way at the entrance. One of the other great things about these units when they were built, they had what they called a magnesite stucco applied. And what that was, it was a type of stucco that wouldn't crack, it wouldn't stain, you didn't even have to paint it, and it was supposed to last for years to come. As you can tell, these units have been repainted over the years.
I wonder if it was supposed to be such a miraculous kind of stucco, why it's still not used today.
Harvey, that's actually a very good question, but in doing research, this kind of stucco is actually still used in today's building industry. We have many different types of now that they apply. One's called acrylic stucco. It's kind of the same kind of thing. And what they do is they actually apply color into the stucco, so you still don't have to paint it, and it doesn't crack or stain.
So these are probably, what, around 1,200 square feet, do you think?
Actually, they're 1,192 square feet. The majority of them have 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. There are a few of them, though, that have 1.5 bath, and the front unit up here to the left has actually 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. So in terms of if they've added bathrooms throughout the years, we're unsure, but they are very modest and small in style.
Now, these have been repainted because they're all different colors.
You know, these have been repainted, and you know, one of the things as we go through our transition through the years is painting something on the outside always gives it a new, fresh feel, and it's what we call, you know, just revitalizing and making it feel good.
You know, with the stucco, it said it doesn't crack, and I don't see a lot of cracks in the buildings.
No, and you know, it's kind of surprising, especially since Long Beach had that large earthquake here in 1933, and 10 years after these were built. So you would think that there would be many, many large cracks, especially being that these are a stucco type building.
Okay, in this unit now, these are all original windows, are they not?
Those wood windows are original, Harvey. They look like they've been upkept very, very well. If you turn around here to my backside, you can see that these windows here have been replaced. These are like an aluminum storefront type window. So you can see the difference of how you have a wood framed window as well as aluminum.
I would assume the floor plan on these are quite similar, if not the same.
You know, I would actually think that the units coming back, these duplexes, probably have floor plans that are actually almost mirror images of each other. The 2 front units probably have a little bit different floor plan because they don't have an adjoining wall or structure in between them.
Now, when this was built, they sold from $3,000 to $9,000.
Actually, it was $9,000 to $13,000,
right.
And I would actually think that the ones up probably towards the front, since they were detached, were more of the $13,000. You know, it also had a little bit better view of, I'm sure at the time they could probably see the ocean. Well, these coming back down this alley were probably of the lesser in the $9,000, and may have only just had the 1 bathroom. As you take a look here over the garages, you can see some of the red clay tile barrel roofs, and that's very, very predominant of Spanish style. Also look at some of the ornamentation that they do apply to these homes in the Spanish style with the wrought iron. The windows also do not have any trim around them, and that's something that's also very predominant in Spanish style.
You know, this was quite progressive for all electrical in 1923.
You know, it actually was, Harvey. That front unit that we started at was actually built as a model, and they say that they had 35 working electrical appliances put into that, and they had opened this model for several weeks for several people for the city of Long Beach to come through and tour.
You know, I've tried to think of 35 electrical appliances, and I can't come up with anywhere near. Some of the things that were original here surprised me. One was a dishwasher.
Well, that's true. And they also said they had an iceless refrigerator as well as a range. So it might have been something that they were trying out. You know, I try to think about 35 electrical appliances just in my house alone, and I think if I had every single thing plugged into my house, I still might not have gotten to 35.
Well, I know I don't have 35 in my house. There's no way.
Well, you know, when Harold E. Ketchum, who was the builder and developer, built this one up front, he kind of came in with the city of Long Beach's electrical, and, you know, they wanted to display this new electricity for the people in the city, and what they were trying to actually tell everyone is that these new electrical appliances make it so much easier, especially for the housewife back then. It takes away the drudgery of the normal housework with having all this electricity. They didn't have to wash things by hand anymore. They'd probably put something in a wash machine.
I noticed a little patio up here, which is sort of neat.
Yes, being that these are sitting right next to each other, they do have little areas that are open. The front unit actually said that it had a covered patio, a sleeping porch, so that area up there might have at one time been considered to be the sleeping porch, but they did not have it covered.
I understand that on opening day here, Thomas Edison sent a telegram to Long Beach congratulating them on being progressive and on the efficiency of the electrical homes.
Yes, he actually did. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. And that was way back in 1923. And you know, there is actually this front unit for sale right now. And being that it was built in 1923, it's been around in Long Beach for quite some time. And I'm sure all the electrical units in there are placed just appropriately, so you can just come in and plug anything into this house.
Now, I know that the one freestanding unit here that we started with supposedly has a basement. I'm going to assume it's a small basement.
You know, it does have a very small basement. Probably houses just the hot water heater. It also has 7 rooms to the house, mainly almost all being up on the upper floor. It had 2 bedrooms, and then it also had, like I mentioned before, an enclosed sleeping porch.
I was supposed to have access to both of the freestanding units so that we could show our viewers what they actually look like inside, but at the last minute, why, I was denied entrance. So, so we didn't get to go in. I would have liked to, but I guess that's the way life goes sometimes.
Well, you know, I'm sure if anybody's interested, there is a for sale sign right out here in the front, and they could probably give the lady on the sign a phone call and make an appointment to come on in. And there are actually 2 units for rent, and they look lovely as you peek through the windows. So I'm sure from that standpoint, if anybody wants to come in and see them, I'm sure they can make an appointment and do that just for themselves.
But it is still a neat little area. You know, Long Beach has a lot of these little hidden away treasures that a lot of people don't know. In fact, I guess we should probably tell the viewers where this is located. It's on First Street between Gaviota and Hermosa. And that it's been here, as you said, since 1923.
Yes, and I find it very interesting that it actually is, it's just its own little alley. It's called Edison Place. It's not even a road that goes all the way through. It's just a little niche off to the side here. Very beautiful.
For their entrance to their garages.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure that they use them quite.
Well, Michelle, thank you for taking me on a outside tour of Edison Place and giving me some of the details of its original. You know, electricity came to Rancho Los Alamitos in 1918, and this was built in 1923, 5 years down the line. And maybe Rancho Los Alamitos got electricity later because they were further out than further away from the downtown area than this would have been.
Well, you know, they did make this as a model specific for electricity, so it was probably something that was new and a new invention, and they wanted to just try something very small to show the residents in Long Beach. And I'm sure that's probably why they were able to go ahead and do this small building.
All right, Michelle, I'll see you soon, and you can take me on another tour somewhere else in Long Beach.
All right, well, thank you so much, Harvey. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. And that's our show for this time, so be sure and come back next month as we find more treasures of Long Beach. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're in Bixby Park for the dedication of the refurbished bandshell, and joining me with her expertise is our Historic Preservation Officer for the City of Long Beach, Jan Ostachet. Jan, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
Now, you know, I've heard two different dates, 1923 and 1927 when this was built. Which is accurate?
Well, we've got plans on file that date from March 1927. So, and as far as the studies that we've had done, it indicates that it was built in 1927. Actually, and completed at the end of 1927.
And then a very famous speaker spoke here in 1928, I believe.
Right. He came, Herbert Hoover, presidential candidate at the time, he came to speak here. This was a place where they held a lot of state picnics. Iowa by the Sea, as Long Beach was called, Indiana, Nebraska, Colorado, and the like. Held their state picnics here. And so he came when Iowa was holding their state picnic, and he is from Iowa. He was from Iowa, so he thought this would be a good platform to come and speak about being from the Midwest, being progressive, and getting a lot of constituents on his side, and then the rest is history.
You know, I had read somewhere where sometimes upwards of 50,000 people would attend the picnics, and I just can't imagine where they would put that many people in this park.
I haven't actually come across any specific numbers, but I do know it was in the thousands and thousands. I've seen up to past 10,000, you know, 10,000, so.
What's the style of architecture?
It's a Spanish colonial revival. The stucco sheathing on the outside, the red clay tile roof is very indicative of the style. The post and beam, the trellis work on either side of the main platform there. Very Spanish colonial revival.
Now, the trellises were added when they reconstructed this. That is part of the original design, though?
It is. It is. On the original plans, the Parks and Recreation Department, when they restored this building, they used the original plans that showed the trellises on either side, the clay tile roof, the arched opening in the center. Pretty much what you see here is what they did and to restore it and bring it back to the life of 1927.
The stage looks like it's been expanded, has it?
The stage was expanded, and when you go up on the platform, you can actually still see the outline of the original stage, but it was expanded in the 1950s, along with a little restroom put onto the back of the structure, which is no longer there, because again, they wanted to bring it back to 1927, so they removed that addition.
And that's where the little shop used to be, where they made, what kind of little...
Well, there's a little room still back there.
Yeah, but there used to be a gal that had throwing clay pots.
Ah, possibly. Now, the other thing that was added, too, is on the far south side, there's an ADA ramp, so that was added for accessibility purposes.
Okay, now this was damaged in 2005 during a rain and windstorm, and a ficus fell on it.
Right.
Okay, from 2005, and here we are in 2008. Well, what took so long?
Well, what happened was that the Parks and Recreation Department had to apply for some funds. Where were they going to get the money to restore the building from? And they decided, since it was wind damage, that they could go through the state to FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and ask for some funds from them. That isn't always necessarily a quick response in getting your money, so they had to do environmental clearance, they had to wait for approvals through the state, through FEMA, and eventually then they were granted the money. Now, one of the environmental assessments that they had to do was a historic assessment report on the structure to see if it was historically significant, because the building actually isn't currently listed on our local Long Beach register as a landmark, and it's not on the National Register, and it's not on the California Register. So we had to have it assessed for historic significance, and the report came back saying that it was eligible for a National Register designation for its historical association with the Iowa picnics, the other state picnics, and Herbert Hoover as well. Not necessarily surprisingly because of its architecture.
So were there funds available since, historic funds available since it is eligible for the National Registry?
It has to be designated. And then depending on the level that it gets designated at, there are more funds available for it, for restoration, for reuse, so on and so forth. So, but the funds really that the park used were federal funds because of the natural disaster that happened.
And when this was first built, it was primarily for a speaker's platform?
Yes, the building plans actually say, which was done by an engineer, by the city engineer at the time, and it said speaker's platform.
Sounds like the old Spit and Argue Club that used to be down at the Pike.
Pretty close, pretty close. Anybody could come up here and, you know, say what they wanted to say. At one time, the municipal band would play here, and they actually fit back then, and now currently they don't fit, so they have to play elsewhere in the park. But a lot of things were going on here at the band shell and elsewhere throughout the park.
I was hoping the municipal band was going to be able to play here this summer, but it doesn't hold all the members of the band?
No, we all were, but no, the band is so huge, and they've got, you know, their amplification systems and all that. I don't think they will be able to, but maybe, and I'm not really sure because I'm not with the Parks and Rec Department, but maybe they'll do something special where they'll take a little jazz trio or something and do it here. I'm not sure, but that would be a nice little treat for
well,
this
I
park.
hope it's used because it's, you know, it's really a neat little place, and you know, here in Bixby Park, there's a lot of activity going on, and I hope they do something with it.
Well, we've got Bard in the Yard, you know, that goes on, and they used to do productions up in Big Rec Park.
This would be
They do
perfect.
perfect for it. You know, they go down to Queen Mary and hold their productions down there, and there's other types of small little production companies that could come and use it during the summertime and elsewhere.
Looks like they're having quite a program here today. I see all kinds of different organizations being represented, some old cars, and I guess they're going to do it upright.
Well, what I understand is that Suja will be coming, and big celebration to kind of re-grand opening of the band shell here, and so the neighborhood groups, the neighborhood associations, the business associations up and down Broadway have all been invited to come and put out booths and kind of promote their wares here, and celebrate the special occasion here, because it's been a long time awaiting. So.
Well, I'm so glad that they finally finished it off, because I walk my dog by all the time and I see this, and then I'm thinking, when's it going to happen? The fence was up forever, and I would see a little progress being made, and then a little more progress, and now the fence is down, and it's...
I agree. They've planted grass, and so the grass will, by summertime, will be up and, you know, full, so you can actually walk on it. It's beautiful now, and it'll even be grander in the summertime.
Tell me, how do you like being Historic Preservation Officer?
I love it. I live here in the city. I've lived here for about 25 years and know the city pretty well, and this is my passion and my life, and I enjoy it. It's challenging, interesting, and hopefully helping to make a difference here in the city.
You know, I think we met many, many years ago when I was with Long Beach Heritage.
That's right.
And I think you were with Long Beach Heritage also, but you've
was.
gone up and I've gone down.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
Jan, I want to thank you for joining me, because
it's my pleasure.
I knew you would be my expert here on the shell and everything else that's historic in the city of Long Beach. So thank you for joining me, and don't go away. We'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
We have a problem.
What is it, boss?
Well, what's wrong? Susie Wong, kid detective. In the last month, she has shut down half of our operations. And now her brother Tommy Wong is working on the X21 Super Go-Kart.
Hey, what a great projector.
Where'd you get it, boss? Avid Electronics.
Great for the big game. I'll bring the sake.
Shut up, you fools. We must stop Susie Wong.
Avid rents video projectors for business and other occasions.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember, Polly's. 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
The Port of Long Beach is one of the busiest in the country. In case of disaster, being prepared is our #1 concern. It's now up to us to be ready for an earthquake, or in the worst case, a terrorist attack. You'll need food and water for 5 to 7 days for your family as well as your pets. You'll need to prepare an emergency evacuation kit for you and your family. For more information, go to www.greaterlongbeachrc.org. Knowing what to do is your best protection, and it's your responsibility.
Food's great. I can see 11 TVs from where I'm sitting. Great atmosphere, good service. Excellent place to come watch a game.
Lots of good sports, great television.
Football, baseball, and HD down at Smooth Sports Grill.
There's actually a nightclub Friday nights and Saturday nights. Fantastic DJ. We love coming to Smooth's. Great food. Got televisions everywhere. Nice place.
Welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. Now from the band shell to the dog beach, we're right back, and joining me is Justin Rudd, who was, well, he's a community activist and advocate, and you were a mover and shaker in getting this beach started, weren't you?
Yes, several years ago, I had the idea that I wanted to take my bulldog Rosie to the beach, and I knew that I couldn't because it was against the law. So what I did was I found in the Long Beach City Code a clause that said that dogs could be allowed on the beach for a special event. So what I did is I went to the special events office and filed for a permit to have a special event where we could have several 2 or 3 acres here in Belmont Shore where dogs could be off leash on a particular Sunday afternoon. And what we ended up doing is having it down at Cherry, by Cherry Avenue, the first afternoon, and we did it there for 4 hours. We had about 500 dogs show up, and for over consecutive months I would have these same special events that would allow dogs to be off leash for a summer. We did it for 21 consecutive months, and then after that we said to the city we wanted to put together a pilot program that we could demonstrate that it could work here in Belmont Shore, and it did. And today we have 3 acres of off-leash area where the dogs can come and have some fun in the water and here on the sand.
Did you find a lot of opposition when you first proposed this?
I think there are people who are leery when you're trying anything new for the first time. People were concerned about dog poop being left behind, or dog bites, or dogs crossing the bike path. But I think once you prove it to them, and that's why we did the special events, that's why we did the pilot program, that it can happen and that it does work and that it's highly popular. This dog beach, during the summer months when it's warm outside on a weekend, they're going to have about 100 dogs at a time here on the dog beach. So that's thousands of, or maybe 2,000 dogs that will come in and out on any one Saturday or Sunday. So it's obviously very popular. It's the most popular place here on the entire 4 miles of Pacific coastline.
You know, this is so much nicer than the dog park up there in Recreation Park, because at least it's cleaner here, and I don't know, it's more open and free.
I think the dog park at Recreation Dog Park on 7th serves a purpose, you know, for people that want to go in a place where it's fenced in, and it is fortunately another place that dogs can be off leash in the city. But this dog beach here is the only dog beach in all of Los Angeles County. So with the, I don't know, 10 or 11 million people that live in Los Angeles County, this is the only place at the beach where they can legally come to. It is not fenced in. It's simply orange cones that surround the perimeter of the dog beach here. So the dogs, But they do. Dogs are pack animals. They like to stay together and play together, run around, chase balls, chase frisbees.
What are the restrictions?
Well, it's pretty simple. No aggressive dogs. You can have one dog per adult. Here at the dog beach, there's no human food or pet food allowed in the dog beach. They're not allowed. The dogs must have a collar and a tag from the Long Beach Animal Control or from wherever they're coming from. So if they're coming from Los Angeles, they have to have a tag from LA Animal Control.
Is it open 24/7?
The dog beach is open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So almost 24/7. Almost, it's daylight hours basically, and it's right here between Argonne and Roycroft Avenues. It's in Belmont Shore. It is 3 acres.
Now, have they had many problems here at the dog beach?
I think as with any off-leash area or with any dogs you put together, there's going to be dog fights that happen from time to time. And yes, there have been some dog fights here. And I think it would be smart for someone to come here and be aware that that's going to happen anytime you have dogs together. But as a general rule, it's a fun place to come to bring your dogs off leash, whether it's a little dog or a big dog. There's all breeds, all sizes, and they're all having a good time here in Long Beach.
It's fun to watch them run in the water and chase each other, and it's just so free and open down here.
And you've got to remember that there are a lot of dogs that come here for the very first time they're coming to the beach, and it's a new experience for them, new sights, new smells, new texture in the sand, and then getting in the water. And it's to watch them run around in circles and play like that, that makes me smile, and I see the smiles on these dogs' faces when they're doing it.
The German Shepherd is my dog, and when we first came down here, she wouldn't go in the water, but now she loves the water.
I think a lot of dogs, or many dogs, can be leery to come into the water because they're hearing the loud sounds. A dog's ears are very sensitive to sound, and obviously a dog's nose is very sensitive to smell. And so it's a lot of stimulus in this at one time. They get used to it, and the thing is, you know, with shepherds or with retrievers, they go right in and chasing after those balls.
You know, because of the success of this park, have there been any other dog beaches that have been opened up within the area?
No, not recently. Los Angeles has tried, the South Bay has tried to put a dog beach in the flight path at Dockweiler Beach. What is that? Pacific Palisades has tried to put a dog beach there. Santa Monica has tried, and they've tried for years and years, and it just has not worked. What was fortunate for us is that we're dealing mostly with the city of Long Beach because this is a city-run beach. It's run by the Long Beach Parks, Recreation, and Marine. And so we don't have to go through county government like those other beaches do.
Well, being an advocate, you're just going to have to go up to these areas and show them how it's done.
Well, I guess so. And I think it also helps that, you know, for me being a dog advocate here in Long Beach, you know, with the Hot Dog Easter Parade, the Hot Dog Halloween Parade, the Bulldog Beauty Contest, it helps that there was somebody pushing the cause along that was a familiar face and people knew who I was and what I was doing. You know, I also happened to organize the beach cleanup that happens down here on the third Saturday every month. And I've been doing that well before the dog beach was ever here. And so I think that track record also speaks highly for us.
How many do you get on the beach cleanup usually?
We just did a beach cleanup this past weekend. We had right at 300 volunteers. So anywhere 200 to 300 volunteers show up.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, it's every third Saturday of each month, rain or shine. We have bags, gloves, refreshments, door prizes. Free parking.
Just down here in Belmont Shore?
We always be in Belmont Shore. It's right next to the dog beach. We meet at the end of Granada Avenue. So the address is 1 Granada Avenue. And we have all ages that come down to the beach cleanup. I mean, from little kids to older adults. We had a woman celebrating her 89th birthday at the beach cleanup this past Saturday. Yeah.
That's tremendous. How do you come up with all of these things?
You know, these are all things that I enjoy doing. I think that there are needs for them in the community. Like just this last weekend, we did the mom prom. We do the father-daughter dance. I happen to do 38 events a year, but they're all events that I would love to go to or love to be involved with that weren't happening, and I just said to myself, I want this to happen. I'm making it happen. I choose to do it. I made it happen.
Now, are these profit or non-profit events?
All of this is run through my nonprofit organization called the Community Action Team. They can check out my website, justinrudd.com, for all the details.
Well, Justin, I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to thank you for initiating this dog beach, because it's a tremendous success, and you know, they just really enjoy it, and I'm so pleased that you had the fortitude to do it, and I'm glad the City Council approved, and I want to thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
That's our show for this time. Be sure and come back next time as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.